What do you hope as your immediate priority to achieve in the House of Commons then? Say, for example, Theresa May brings a meaningful vote next week. Any indication how you're going to go?
Well, I think, we need to see what comes first and foremost, because, dare I say it, we've heard this before, promised a meaningful vote that then didn't transpire. Our attention so far has been making sure that the amendment created via Oliver Letwin and Vivek Cooper, etc., is successful, and the intelligence we have so far is that if we're put in an opportunity to present that, then it will be and ministers will back it.
What are your domestic policy priorities? There's been some confusion over whether you'll all agree. Obviously, it's a coming together of two different parties. On the issue of austerity, for example, clearly Anna Soubry, one of your number, has backed the Prime Minister on many of those votes, which Chuka Umunna and others, now in the same independent group, have not done so. How are you going to square those differences?
Well, this is the challenge, isn't it? But the opportunity also of a brand new party. Because I suppose the point is, if we as a group, and we hope other colleagues from all parties will join, not just more Labour and Conservative, if we can knock it around and find a compromise, then that tells me there's a really good chance we can sell that to the British public. Because that's what the British public want. Fairness, economic competence, and a policy that sits somewhere in between the two.
What should the Lib Dems do? You're now got the same number of MPs as them. Latest polls overnight show that you're polling better than them already, according to some polls. What should they do now?
Well, I think for all MPs, regardless of party, that of course is a decision for them, because every single one of us has had to have that, look in the mirror and decide whether you can do this, whether it's the right thing to do. I would like to think that there are some of them, if not all of them, would like to join us. But what's really important, this is a blank sheet of paper. I'm not a Conservative, Chuka isn't Labour. If people came from the Lib Dems, this is not Lib Dems version 2, it's the independent grouping that will coalesce to form a party. We need to come without baggage, I suppose, is the message. But I'm hopeful, of course, that colleagues from all parties will join us.
You must have felt that the Tory operation, CCHQ, the Whip's office, number 10, were pretty out of touch during this process, surely, to come to this decision. What were they like? Did they reach out to you? Did you have private conversations with them? Surely they asked you to stay.
I've had nothing at all. One cabinet minister who, getting wind of the media, were obviously getting quite excited last night. He sent me a WhatsApp message and said, Heidi, I do hope it's not true, we need you in the Tory party, but that is literally it.
Nothing at all, even from the Whips, no call from Theresa May, nothing to try to keep you on board and avoid this?
No, not at all. I had an offer of a meeting with the Chief Whip this afternoon, which came around about 11 o'clock. But judging by other colleagues, I think that was a general Remain a Tory meeting. I don't think that was specifically for me about this topic. So no, quite surprising, really.
Have you spoken to your association today, your chair, for example? What are you hearing from the ground from people who support you there?
Yeah, that was the first phone call I made to my chairman as soon as felt it was courteous to deliver our letter to the Prime Minister directly. As soon as we'd done that, I spoke to my chairman, and he was very supportive, actually. I've tried to speak to as many of my management team as I can. A little bit surprised, but you would have had to have been blind and deaf not to have heard any of the media sort of whipping this up in the last 12 to 24 hours. And I suspect a good number of my association will be interested, I think, in this new project.
How many Tories do you think will follow? Are there plans for some kind of membership operation? How are you going to get volunteers on the ground involved to build this kind of movement that you're talking about?
Well, I can only speak for my own inbox and my own Twitter account, although, to be fair, I've not been able to get close to it in the last few hours because it's just a sea of notifications. But judging by the emails that were coming through last night, I won't be short of volunteers in South Cambridge. So the response has been unbelievable, really, really encouraging.
What would you say to Remain backing cabinet ministers who are looking at this project going on right now? We know that some of your colleagues in this group have said that privately they probably have sympathies with you. The same with maybe as many as 30 ministers inside the government who could resign very shortly. Are you issuing an invitation to them to leave Theresa May's government and essentially make the Conservative Party fall apart in office?
No, I think it's a clearly very dangerous and precarious time. Nobody needs or wants a general election right now. But in terms of, there's two types of resignation, aren't there? Whether you leave the party altogether, as we have, or resignations from ministerial positions. If that's what they need to do next week to stop this potential disaster of no deal, then I know there's some soul searching going on, and I'm as confident as I can be that they will do the right thing. After that, in terms of our project, we need to get Brexit dealt with first.
Presumably you're free now on matters of confidence not to back the government, not to back the Prime Minister. Is that something that's crossed your mind, the possibility of that in the next few weeks?
Yes, of course. You try, and as you're making this decision, you're trying to imagine what the future will look like in every aspect. Every decision I will take will be pretty much as it always has been. What is the right decision for the country, and I'll vote accordingly.
Heidi Allen, thanks very much.
Thank you.